Hello there, very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. We'll start off with the top stories.
Cabinet approves National Audit Bill after 3-year delay. 3 years since the Central Bank Treasury bond scam. Arjuna Mahendran not at Singapore residence. Body of missing 9-year-old from Chilau found in jungle. ID issued to former Minister Vimal Veerawangsa's wife without any documentation.
The body of a 9-year-old boy from Iranavilla, Chilau, who was missing for 2 days, was found this morning in a jungle area.
The boy, identified as Juan Jedige Susin Nirmal, was a grade 4 student from the Iranavilla Vidyalaya and he was reported missing on Sunday. CCTV cameras at a nearby shop recorded footage of a man taking away the child after gifting him something.
They sleep at the house owned by the shop. He was at the shop until after 10. We do not know what happened thereafter. At 1:30 that afternoon, another child said he was taken away by a man.
He told me to come. I told I cannot. I saw he had a knife, so I told I cannot. Then I saw Nirmal walking with that man into the jungle.
The victim was the third in a family of 5 living in Samidugama, Iranavilla.
We were looking for him and then I came across the t-shirt he was wearing earlier. I was speechless after what I saw. Those who were with me yelled out to the others.
According to police, the man said to have been with the boy when he was last seen has fled the area. A local coconut plucker is suspected of committing the murder and investigations are underway to locate him.
වැරදි කරන කිසි කෙනෙක් මම රකින්න ලෑස්ති නැහැ.
වෙන කණ්ඩායමක් ආවොත් මේ නිදහස නැති වෙනවා.
අද ඩොලරය 159යි.
මේගොල්ලෝ සුදු කරපටි මංකොලකාරී.
මේ මම ඇමරිකානු පුරවැසියෙක්.
The Cabinet of Ministers convened this morning at the Presidential Secretariat for the first time after the reshuffle over the weekend.
Both the President and Prime Minister attended the Cabinet meeting, although a few other ministers did not, as they are currently overseas. Ministers Arjuna Ranatunga, Susil Premajayantha, Ranjit Siambalapitiya, Thalatha Athukorala and Harin Fernando were among the notable absentees for today's Cabinet meeting. It was an ordinary Cabinet meeting like any other day. No, none of the ministers who did not come today have informed us of such a thing. There was nothing special today. Everyone spoke about continuing the development activities together. I think it is likely that the SLFP and UNP will work together at local government bodies. No, not at all. There is no burden now whatsoever. I do not have to hear anything about wild elephant attacks now. I will proceed with the Dhamma now. Following the Cabinet meeting, a few of the United National Party ministers met with the President separately. We just held a separate meeting with the President. That is all. It was nothing special. Only a few of us attended this meeting. The Prime Minister had convened another meeting at Templetree. A few of the ministers here were also to attend that meeting.
Several ministers and MPs responded to yesterday's statement made by State Minister Palitha Rangabandara that a no-confidence motion would be brought against Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Rangabandara should talk to us about his grievance and we should resolve it. I did not speak the details about his proposals, but Rangabandara does present a lot of pressing issues, so we should listen to the reality of those issues, figure out the truth and give solutions to them.
අපි ධනාත්මක විසඳුම් ලබා දෙන්නට.
ඔබතුමා නියෝජ්‍ය නායකයා විදිහට ඔබතුමාට හිතෙනවාද එතුමා කියන මේ කරුණු කාරණාවල යම් සත්‍යතාවයක් තියෙනවා කියලා?
I would never swat it away and say he is wrong. He is only trying to build the party. Rangabandara has no interest in destroying the party. We have to listen to what he has to say and go on a positive journey.
ධනාත්මක ගමනක් යන්නට.
එතුමා පැහැදිලිවම කියන්නේ අගමැති ධූරයේ වෙනසක් වෙන්න ඕනි, පක්ෂ නායකයන්ගේ වෙනසක් වෙන්න ඕනි කියලා. කියන්නේ ඔබතුමා කියන්නේ ඒ දෙක වෙන්න ඕනි කියලා.
Those should be resolved through discussion. Do not try to put words into my mouth.
වචන පුරවන්න හදන්න එපා.
This is a crisis within the UNP. They should resolve it themselves. No, we do not have to talk about that right now because there is no such motion as yet. Minister Palita Rangabandara had a backbone to come to a decision like that. We kindly ask the Prime Minister to resign with dignity before a no confidence motion is brought. It is either that or a general election should be called.
The Campaign for Free and Fair Elections, or CAFE, convened a media briefing today.
It has been 24 years since Ranil Wickremesinghe became the leader of the United National Party in November 1994. Generally, we say the time span of a generation is 20 years. After these 20 years, we call it the second generation. So by the 24th year, the second generation is here. When Ranil Wickremesinghe became the leader of the UNP, D.B. Wijetunga was the country's president. Then Madam Chandrika Bandaranayake Kumaratunga served 2 terms as president after being re-elected for a second. Then Mahinda Rajapaksa was elected twice and he served for 2 terms as president. Then with the support of the United National Party, Maithripala Sirisena was elected president. The country has seen 4 presidents, but yet the United National Party has not changed one bit. Ranil Wickremesinghe sits on the same chair in the United National Party and it is exactly where it was. So you cannot expect anything else but internal issues and a lack of democracy from within the party. This is the reason for the deteriorating state of the country today. Having said this, those in the Election Operations Office in Sirikota have addressed a letter to the Elections Commission accusing the election observers as being biased. This is what they are doing. They do not have a single idea about the country's politics.
The National Unity Alliance convened a media briefing today.
There was no reshuffle. It was taken from one rogue and was handed over to another. It is clear that the people's aspirations were not fulfilled. People hoped that the ministry of Malik Samaravikrama will be taken from him. All the corruption takes place through that ministry. It is all done by the minister. The minister is the one who is making deals. He asked all the people who stole during Mahinda Rajapaksa's time to come to the country. He said he will take care of the CID and FCID and gave these people BOI status. We saw Malik Samaravikrama bringing down the head of the Marriott Hotel to put up a tyre factory. How many such businessmen has he brought down? Malik Samaravikrama is not allowing a single minister to carry out his or her duties properly. He interferes and tells them how things need to be done. He is appointing committees to other ministries. His committee makes a final decision. He interferes. When there are rogues like this, there is no point of any cabinet reshuffle being done. He must be changed first.
Former Ceylon Chamber of Commerce Chairman Chandra Jayaratne, speaking on Face the Nation last night, criticised unnecessary government spending.
When they vote monies for things, do they ask priority? Before they import vehicles for themselves, do they ask that? Or should we go and the marginalized communities of this country who are not able to meet the 3 meals a day or at least 2 meals a day? Have we looked after them? Should we put billions onto this? Should we putting up buildings or having buildings and not occupying them, paying millions and billions? Should we be taking foreign trips and things like that and doing tamashas? I would say the professionals in this country, the business sector and the executive have caved in and are paying lip service to what they should be doing and doing what their masters are saying. This, to my mind, starts from the Constitution, which has given oversight, control and direction powers to ministers, which it should be in the hands of the Chief Accounting.
The much delayed National Audit Bill has received Cabinet approval. This was confirmed by Joint Cabinet spokesperson Minister Dayasiri Jayasekara, adding there were no objections to the amended bill.
One of the promises made by the 100-day program of the government was to present a national audit bill in Parliament and pass it to ensure public finance takes place in a more transparent manner. Accordingly, the bill was to be tabled in Parliament on the 19th of February 2015 and be passed on the 19th of March that very year. However, the National Audit Bill was never presented under the 100-day government, and following the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, the National Audit Service Commission was formed. However, the Commission was unable to function due to the continuous delay in passing the National Audit Bill and vesting the Commission with the respective powers. Another reason for the delay was there was no agreement with some of the clauses included in the National Audit Bill. Auditor General Gamini Vijayasinghe recently revealed the bill has been subject to amendments on more than 20 occasions. What is most significant is that the bill included a surcharge that vested the Auditor General with powers to recover money whenever public funds have been misappropriated. Several cabinet subcommittees were appointed to further study the matter. 3 years after coming into office, the cabinet has finally approved the National Audit Bill. However, it needs to be passed in Parliament to come into force. Would the National Audit Bill bring about the financial discipline expected by the people? News First will keep a close watch.
Today is the third anniversary of the infamous bond auction of the 27th of February 2015.
3 years ago, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under Governor Arjuna Mahendran advertised a bond of 1 billion rupees for 30 years. When the auction closed, the governor decided to take up 20 times that value, 20 billion rupees. In the face of opposition from central bank personnel, he decided to reduce that to 10 billion rupees. Perpetual treasuries ended up with the lion's share of the 10 billion rupees, and part of it was achieved at an extraordinarily high rate of 12.05%. The rate prevailing before this auction was in the region of 9.85%. Significantly, the Bank of Ceylon, also a primary dealer, made a bid for and on behalf of perpetual treasuries. As public concern grew and the media interest reached new levels, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe decided the matter was worthy of his interest and intervention. On the 17th of March 2015, he made a speech in Parliament. The Prime Minister was unambiguous. He said that he insisted on a change of system and blamed it on corruption in the previous administration. Then Speaker Chamal Rajapaksa invited DEW Gunasekara to be chairman of COPE in order to investigate the bond auction of 27th February. On the day the DEW Gunasekara was to be tabled in Parliament, fortuitously for those involved in the bond scam, Parliament was dissolved on the 26th of June 2015. With that, the inquiries into the bond scandal came to a halt. A notable feature of the COPE report was that Arjuna Mahendran, under oath, stated that he had only followed the Prime Minister's instructions. 3 months after parliamentary elections on the 17th of August 2015, Prime Minister Wickremesinghe appointed Sunil Handunnetti as chairman of COPE to restart the investigation on the 26th of November 2015. On the 29th and 30th of March 2016, 2 more controversial bond auctions were held. In October 2016, the UNP members of COPE signed off the report but added footnotes challenging some of the conclusions of the COPE report. On the 27th of January 2017, responding to growing parliamentary and public sentiment, President Sirisena appointed a Presidential Commission of Inquiry to look into the issuance of bonds from February 2015 through to the 31st of March 2016. Over the 11 months that followed, the nation looked on in disbelief as the scale of the bond scam was revealed during the inquiry. On the 30th of December 2017, the Presidential Commission of Inquiry delivered the report to the President, who sent it to the Attorney General's Department. In January, the report was delivered to the Speaker of the House. Findings on key people in the report were Arjuna Mahendran acted mala fide and had shared sensitive information that had benefited perpetual treasuries. His son-in-law Arjuna Aloysius, part owner of perpetual treasuries, was alleged to have used his relationship with Mahendran to obtain inside information and make massive profits at the expense of government institutions. Ravi Karunanayake faces allegations of bribery. He was moved out of the post of Finance Minister and was given the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He then resigned in August 2017 following revelations during the inquiry. The Prime Minister was found to have been ill-advised by Mahendran and the Department Governor Samar City. 2 key recommendations were made by the Commission of Inquiry: a forensic audit of all the trades conducted by perpetual treasuries and other primary dealers involved in the bond auctions be carried out, to institute legal action against those accountable. To this effect, a notice has been issued on Arjuna Mahendran. However, efforts to locate Mahendran in Singapore have failed. He continues to be out of the reach of Sri Lanka's law enforcement. Arjuna Aloysius and Kasun Palisena are currently detained at the Colombo remand prison after bail applications were twice refused by the magistrate. Ravi Karunanayake is now a backbench MP in Parliament as investigations continue. Ranil Wickremesinghe has now become the Minister of Law and Order. 3 years after the biggest financial crime in Sri Lanka's history, and no one in government has been held accountable or successfully prosecuted.
Sources have confirmed to Newsfirst former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran, wanted by court over the bond scam, is not living at the address in Singapore which he provided to authorities.
Sources said the International Courier Service, tasked to hand over the notice issued by court, has reported back to authorities that Mahendran is not living in the apartment. An official close to the investigation said an occupant of the residence claimed Mahendran had left the apartment some time back. Arjuna Mahendran was given a deadline until the 8th of March by the Colombo Fort Magistrate to appear before the director of the CID and provide a statement for the ongoing investigations. He was first requested to appear before court on the 16th of February, however he failed to appear. In addition, Newsfirst learns former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia is still on the run. A source close to the investigation confirmed Udayanga Weeratunga had in fact threatened via SMS a member of the Sri Lankan team that visited Dubai earlier this month. This team was working with UAE authorities on arresting Udayanga Weeratunga.
It's reported the Prime Minister is expected to visit Singapore on the 2nd of March on an official visit. We now cross over to Chaturanga Hapuarachi for more details on the controversy.
Thank you, Nicola. I'm going to talk to you on the 3rd anniversary of the bond scam, the infamous bond scam. I'm going to draw your attention to another point that was very widely discussed, the national payment platform. Now, there seems to be attention drawn towards the national payment platform once again, and Newsfirst reported that the cabinet had approved the way forward for the national payment platform. There was also talk of a hybrid company being set up for the same purpose. Now, letters were exchanged between the Prime Minister's office, the Secretary to the Prime Minister, and the Governor of the Central Bank with regard to the national payment platform. I have here with me the letter dated 15 February 2018. This letter was sent by the Governor of the Central Bank to the Secretary to the Prime Minister, listing out some of the concerns that the Central Bank has and the Governor has with regard to this hybrid company that is to be established and the national payment platform altogether. Now, the first point here is that the Governor of the Central Bank says that the CCEM meeting, the Cabinet Committee on Economic Management meeting, where this national payment platform was discussed, there were never officials of the Central Bank present at this meeting. Why? It has been informed to the Central Bank Governor that this particular topic, the national payment platform, was not going to be discussed, or it was not on the agenda at that particular meeting last week. Now, Dr. Kumaraswamy has also said that the CBSL points out that a new hybrid company is not required and any functions regarding the retail payment and settlement systems can be carried out by the existing national payment infrastructure provider Lanka Clear Private Limited. That is what the Governor has mentioned in this letter. The Governor also goes on to provide an example of India, where he says that 1.324 billion people in India are using a payment platform, and it is currently held by the NCPI. It's called the NCPI, and it's currently being held by the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI. This is the example that the Governor of the Central Bank brings forward. Now, the point here is very simple. During a time when there was political instability after the results of the local government elections came in, during a very critical week for the government, the opposition, the Prime Minister, all of the people involved, the stakeholders of this government, why was there a requirement to bring in the national payment platform discussions into the cabinet meeting, the cabinet ministers meeting? Why was there a requirement to bring this in this manner? Was there an ulterior motive to use the situation that was in the government at the moment to bring the national payment platform matter into the cabinet once again? Was there an ulterior motive? Newsfirst will keep its eyes open and report everything that happens to the people of this country. Shane, over to you.
Thank you, Chaturanga. Moving on to other local news, former Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake was seen visiting the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption this morning.
According to our reporter on location, Karunanayake had arrived at the Commission to make a statement.
Colombo High Court Judge Sampath Wijeratne ordered the recording of evidence in the case filed against former Minister Mahindananda Alutgamage to begin on the 6th of March.
The case was filed under several indictments, including for the criminal misappropriation of 3.9 million rupees owned by a trade union known as the Sri Lankan Nidahas Workers Congress. When the matter was taken up today, the High Court judge ordered the Attorney General to hand over copies of the email complaint made by convener of the Voice Against Corruption organisation, Vasantha Samarasinghe, on the 30th of January 2015 and another 148 documents to the defence. The interim order issued by the Court of Appeal preventing authorities from taking action against former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa under the Public Property Act was further extended till the 23rd of March. The petition was taken up before the bench comprising Justices P. Padman Surasena and Shiran Gunaratne. When the petition was taken up today, Attorney-at-Law Romesh De Silva made lengthy deliberations to court.
The national identity card of Shashi Weerawansa, the wife of former Minister Wimal Weerawansa, had been issued without the submission of any documents required for the issuance of an NIC. This was revealed when court examined evidence regarding the case filed against Shashi Weerawansa over obtaining a diplomatic passport by submitting fake documents.
Jagat P. Vijayveera, the Commissioner General of the Department for Registration of Persons at the time, gave evidence in court today. Vijayveera said Wimal Weerawansa had contacted him via telephone and as a favour requested him to prepare an NIC for his wife to leave the country urgently. Vijayveera told court it is his duty as a state employee to heed to the request made by a person as Wimal Weerawansa who holds ministerial position in the government. Thereby, the former Commissioner General said he had ordered his personnel to issue a national identity card for Shashi Weerawansa through the one-day service facility without any documentation. It was just a police report and a driver's license which had been submitted. Vijayveera also informed court the document stated her age as 39. He added, however, there was a disparity in Shashi Weerawansa's name in her driver's license and police report, but there was no cause for doubt and the NIC was released on the basis that proper documentation would be submitted later. When questioned by the magistrate if the required documentation were in fact submitted later, Vijayveera responded saying he was unaware of it as he had been transferred. Colombo Chief Magistrate Lal Ranasinghe Bandara ordered the case to be postponed until the 23rd of April.
Today, Newsfirst inspected the weir constructed across the Ambagala Ella in Hengamua, Kurunagala under the Gammadda Wedadahasak or 1000 Tasks program. When our team visited the location, the locals had begun reaping the harvest nourished from the waters obtained by the weir. The project was financially supported by Jiffy Products Sri Lanka Private Limited.
The Hengamu village is located in the Kobegane Divisional Secretariat jurisdiction in the Kurunagala district and is one that depends on agriculture to survive. The Ambagahaela waterway was constructed in the 1970s to assist the villagers in their agriculture industry. However, as time passed, the construction broke loose and the farmers were facing a difficult situation to continue farming. Authorities also turned a blind eye to their plight. However, last year, under the Gammadda Wedadahasak program, we took measures to resolve the issue. The village of Hengamua is home to around 150 families and a majority of them depend on agriculture or related professions. We are enjoying the benefits of this project. The farmers are extremely pleased. They were excited to cultivate during this harvesting season. The harvest was also very good for us. I believe they are preparing to pay you a visit during this Sinhala and Tamil New Year. We are able to reap a very successful harvest this time around, thanks to the Gammadda program. All the abandoned spaces in the village will be filled this year. The project was financially supported by Jiffy Products SL Private Limited. We all have worked hard, shedding blood and sweat. We are extremely pleased to be able to support the villages and the people from the benefits that we have reaped.
Gammadda
The Sri Lanka-Norway Music Corporation Dialogue was held in Colombo today. The event was presided over by the Norwegian ambassador in Sri Lanka.
The dialogue was held under the theme Performative Arts, Reconciliation and Education, 8 years of the Sri Lanka-Norway Music Corporation. Norwegian ambassador to Sri Lanka spoke of the power of music as a tool for reconciliation.
Music speaks directly to the heart. This response, this echo within the heart, is proof that human hearts can transcend the barriers of time and space and nationality. The Sri Lanka-Norway Music Corporation has tried to stimulate the musical performing arts in Sri Lanka, thus contributing to the peace and reconciliation process. When we are nearing the end of this cooperation, it is important to reflect on the experiences gained during the past years. And I was encouraged to hear that you are focusing very much on the youth, the schools, and the next generation. And I think also the friendship that has been created throughout this cooperation is something to build on.
The technical group meeting of the Intergovernmental Group of 24 organization began this morning.
The G24 Technical Group meeting is expected to serve as the main forum for discussion of the key work program priorities of the group. Representatives from a number of countries as well as the Central Bank of Sri Lanka were present for the meeting.
The IMF forecast the gross financing needs for 2018 in emerging and middle-income economies range from 4% to 43% of the GDP, with an average of 10.4%. In many developing economies, a high proportion of this outstanding debt is held by non-residents. This creates added complexities in the policy response. It is clear that Sri Lanka, like many developing countries, faces such refinancing risks in the coming years. This warrants a concerted and coordinated policy response to mitigate such risk. Because of this variety of impending developments in the global financial markets, the World Bank and IMF jointly formulated a new framework on debt sustainability for low-income countries, as announced in October last year. The current global financial content demand our urgent attention to further strengthen our macroeconomic policies and institutions, particularly in the sphere of public debt management.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola Rizoiza.
And I'm Shane Silva. Just a reminder that tonight on Newsfirst in Focus, a discussion on poverty, inequality and development priorities with Professor Siri Hettige, Department of Sociology from the University of Colombo. Good night.
Good night.